Hello and welcome to a Times special presentation for Thirukkural with the Times, where we explore real-world lessons from the classic Tamil text Thirukkural with motivational speaker, author and diversity champion Bharathi Baskar as she explores the masterpiece. In the age of social media and cancel culture, you can become the symbol of all that's wrong overnight. It takes a lot of courage to admit that one could have done better, especially when the opponent is someone lower in status. What did Thiruvalluvar have to say on maintaining grace under fire?
A few months ago, the chairman of L&T found himself at the center of a storm. During an internal interaction, he remarked that employees should consider working on Sundays and casually quipped, "How long can you stare at your wife?" What was meant as an offhand comment was recorded against rules, circulated online, and soon exploded into a nationwide debate on productivity, respect, and work-life balance. The backlash was swift and merciless. I had written then in this column, quoting a verse from the Thirukkural on love, which reminds us that for those truly bound together, even a lifetime is not enough to gaze at one another. Months later, I came across an interview given by Mr. Subramaniam, the same chairman, where he offered a different lens. With striking humility, he reflected, "On hindsight, I could have answered differently, but what happened, happened, and I cannot withdraw it now." It was a tense situation, and the response came out that way. If the same question comes again, I would answer differently now. In a digital age where a single phrase can erase decades of hard work, this acceptance was refreshing. It takes courage to admit I could have done better. Cancel culture has become a defining feature of our times. A sentence pulled out of context, a misplaced gesture, even a slip of expression, all can ignite fury and paint a person's entire being with one shade of judgment. Overnight, you can become the symbol of all that's wrong. You wake up in the morning with a faint hope that the storm has passed, only to feel your heart sink when the phone lights up. Notifications pour in, outrage, ridicule, anger. You scroll through and it feels as if the entire world is pointing fingers. Colleagues avert their eyes, friends grow silent. Even familiar spaces feel strange. The house you return to is the same, yet somehow it feels emptier. Because the noise outside has entered your heart. You're left to travel that long road of condemnation all by yourself. Each step is heavy. Each breath reminding you of a mistake you probably did not commit, or committed something that cannot be taken back. And yet, this is where dignity must be preserved, not by denial or defiance, but by quiet acceptance. To whisper, "Yes, I stumbled," and still stand up again is courage in its purest form. It is the kind of courage that cleanses, the kind that turns defeat from disgrace into resurgence. Very recently, there was a contentious statement made about Kamaraj, and my thoughts went towards that great man. Here was a man of unimpeachable integrity, the very embodiment of selflessness in public life. He gave up power, lived without wealth or privilege, and left behind nothing but his honesty. And yet he too faced defeat, not at the hands of a giant, but by a little-known newcomer in an election. For a leader of his stature, it was not just a loss, but a heartbreak written across history. Cho Ramaswamy, in his book I Met Kamaraj, recalls a poignant meeting with the leader soon after. Kamaraj lay quietly on his bed in his humble home. When asked how his followers could be expected to stand by him after such an electoral setback, he replied with serene dignity, "I have fallen in a manner that I cannot fall any lower. Now that I have fallen so badly, I can only get up. If true followers still wait at my gate at this hour of defeat, why would they leave when I rise again? Defeat had not diminished him, it had only deepened his greatness. The true test of courage is not in how one wins, but in how one assimilates defeat. To reflect, to recognize one's fault, to apologize when needed, and then to rise again. Thiruvalluvar called this the acid test of greatness. Saalbirkuk Kattalai Yaadhenin, Tholvi, Thulayallaar, Kannum, Kolal. What is perfection's test? To accept defeat even at the hands of those less worthy. The world often glorifies victory, raising it on pedestals and writing songs in its name. But the truest measure of character is revealed when defeat comes not from a worthy rival, but from someone far less in stature or merit. To bear such a fall without anger, to bow to the outcome without bitterness, and to rise again without scorn, that is dignity in its highest form.